All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is Friday, June 30th. We got PCE this morning coming in cooler than expected. Going over to the economic calendar. Let's see. This ended up coming in, the regular PCE ended up coming in cooler than expected, much cooler, at 3.8% versus 4.6% expected, down from 4.3% for the month of April. This is the May reading. And then the month-over-month reading came in at 0.1% versus 0.5% expected, down from 0.4% in April. Regular, or I guess core PCE, came in at 4.6% versus 4.7% expected, down from 4.7% in April. And then finally, core PCE month-over-month came in at 0.3% versus 0.3% expected, down from 0.4% for the month of April. So pretty good overall inflation report. Markets are obviously up on good inflation, with the S&P currently up by 0.8%. The NASDAQ is currently up by 1%, 1.1 almost. The Dow Jones currently up by 0.6%, and the Russell 2000 even up again today by 0.9%. So across the board, seeing a rally across all equities and even into gold, with the dollar going down on this report, where we've seen a pretty nice little short covering on GLD from 175.79 to 177.69. So up $2 and trading just above the highs of yesterday. Looking over at the options chain for QQQ, we are almost all bullish today. Looking at the nearest strike prices, you're looking at 367 with, this is today's expiration, 3,400 puts, 8,600 calls. 368, you're looking at 7,700 calls, 4,400 puts. And then if we do get above 370, bulls will take control with 17,000 calls versus only 800 puts. If we do manage to slip down a little bit, though, down to 365, you have some competition from the bears with 20,000 puts versus 34,000. So there's still more 365 calls, but at least the bears will give us some competition below 365. But right now we're trading at 367.5, so still need to drop about $2.50. Good morning. It is a Friday. You're right. Why are contracts so high today? They're going to be juicy. Calls are going to be juiced up. Apple is pulling back a little bit from its pre-market high at 192.20. Currently at 191.70. But, wow, decent pullback on Microsoft too. I'm expecting a pullback on Tesla here first thing on the open. Trading just above the 260 mark. You don't have a lot of calls above us, at least for today's expiration. If you're looking at the 262.5, there's a drop of about more than 50%. So my guess, Tesla ends up pulling back, and especially if Apple and Microsoft are pulling back, that'll help. All right, contracts are going for 325. Kind of expensive. Bid ask is really bad. 15 cents wide. All right, I'm going to snag them at 320. I think that's a good price. I got them at 315, actually. Tesla's going up on the open. Right after I open that one. So I think I'm going to have to close basically right away. Did not expect us to go above 261. Luckily, I got the contracts cheap, I guess. Let's see, though. New options alert, premium. Just opened a new Tesla 245 put expiring next week, 7/7 expiration at 3/15. Currently at break even for the contract. So I guess we did get it at a decent price, luckily. Surprised that we got it so cheap. Let's see where we're headed. For QQQ, trading at 368 right now. Almost breaking that resistance that I have set. I'm not sure where that's from, actually. It's probably based on the options market. Actually, that would be a new break in momentum, I guess. We've been pretty flat for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days. So that would be a break in momentum to the upside, to where we might see something like 370 plus today. Yeah, 368. Again, bulls will take control, I think, over 370. Only 800 puts, 16,000 calls. Volume is, let's see, 39 puts, hardly any. Versus 3,700 calls. All right, Tesla's managing to stay above 260 right now, so this is a little bit concerning for the put, the 245 put that I got. So my guess, I'll probably have to close this at a loss. Luckily, we didn't pay too much for it. I'm going for 295. I bought it for 315, so it'll be a 20 loss if we take it here. Seem to have touched that high at 262 almost and pulled back immediately on it. Just trading right at 261, between 260 and 262 right now. So first 5 minutes, pretty wild. $2 move. Contracts are going for 305 for the bid. They went all the way to 330 at the top. I'm guessing that was the asking price. But yeah, we're just kind of chopping in this 260, 262 range for the first 5 minutes so far. Let's see, for QQQ, still trading just below 368, so kind of the same thing going on for Tesla as Qs. We are seeing a little bit of a pullback from 368. That was our top. There is a decent amount of a drop in volume from 368 to 369. It's about 50%, so that could act as a pivot point, potentially. But if we do go back above 368 again, I'd imagine that people would start buying into the 369 calls and just buying out of the money, the next strike price that's out of the money. If we can get Tesla below like 260 and a half, I think we could switch to bearish, but right now it's trading above 261. Yeah, looks like we're going back to the highs at 262 here again. So we had that small pullback and then higher. All right. So it looks like I'll have to take a 20 loss for the trade unless it does pull back again. Yeah, looks like another pullback from 262. So we could just get trapped in a range. Hopefully not. That would be pretty annoying, but SPY is going to rip today. Yeah, I think that SPY has the best potential to go up if everything else is going up. You're seeing the Russell 2000 up 0.7%, Dow Jones up 0.6%. So likely you're going to get a good rally for Qs. Or SPY. It's about 440. But Qs is just kind of chilling at 368, not wanting to break above it too much yet. Let's see for next week's expiration on Tesla, if they're buying into the 262.5s. That would support the rally going up. Let's see, 260. No, they're not buying the 262.5. They're just buying the 260 right now. So they are in the money, which is good. But then you see that steep drop from 260 to 262.5, which doesn't really support us being above 260 right now. And even today, actually, there's a decent amount of volume for the 262.5s. So, could get a squeeze on Tesla even. Well, let's see, for Apple, it's trading at 192, still getting rejected at that level right now. QQQ still getting rejected at 368. So overall, markets are just kind of hesitant on this open. Not really choosing much direction just yet. So we'll wait. Maybe try to find a long position. I was thinking about going long at Apple, but that 192 level is acting as a pretty solid resistance. Meta's pulling back from 285 and change. Let's see the options chain here. There's not that many options that are open and getting traded today, so don't have much direction. Yeah, looks like the open is positive, but not super yet. You're trading at 70 on the RSI, so we are overbought. Doesn't mean that we have to pull back, but that 368 is acting as a good resistance for the Qs right now. What's the plan today? Likely going to be bullish across the board, especially for SPY, I'm thinking. QQQ needs to get above 368, and then 370 would be entirely bullish for Qs. But for SPY, I think that has the best potential for a good rally today, with the Dow Jones up 0.7%, IWM up 0.8%. So let's see for SPY, the options chain here. Tesla's just chilling at 261 right now, so not making a definitive move. Looking at the options chain for SPY, you're looking at the 442 being extremely popular in volume, 50,000 contracts almost traded at 442. There's a decent drop from 442 to 443, but people might start buying in now. And then there's a steep drop in the open interest from 40,000 to 15,000. So this could act as a resistance at 442. But we'll have to see. Right now it looks super bullish. You're trading at 80 on the RSI, so pullback not completely necessary here. You're getting slightly higher highs on Tesla here. Sorry, higher lows, I should say, not a higher high yet. Got across 262 and change for that. Hopefully we don't have a day like yesterday where there's just no momentum across the board. That would be another frustrating day. But QQQ just above 368. Apple's trading above 192 now, so crossing that resistance. Microsoft's probably doing well. Yeah, 340. I think you could get a gamma squeeze in Microsoft and Apple. My guess, Microsoft could be, let's see, 345 today, and then there's a drop in volume there, or drop in open interest, I should say. But there is a decent drop in volume over 340. From 340 to 342.5, it went from 13,000 in volume to only 3,000. So 340 could act as a resistance as well. We'll keep Tesla up on the right side here. Currently at 261.72, looking to go higher again. But every time it's getting close to 262, it gets rejected, so we'll see. Yep, breaking that 262 level now. New high there. So I think I'm gonna get out at 275 for a 40 loss. If there is any pullback here, but that new high is fueling more of a rally. And if you see 262.5, you could get a decent squeeze on it too. Let's see, 262.5. They're actually buying into those, so that would support the rally there. Pretty good gamma squeeze across the board, though. Q is trading at 369 now, so you're getting real close to that 370 level that the markets want. All right, close those at 271. What was that? 245 put. 7/7 expiration at 271. All right, so looks like we're getting to 370 for Qs. Nvidia's trading at 420. That was a huge one. Up from 415 to the open. Amazon's trading to 130. Let's see if people are buying out of the money here. The 131, there's a huge drop in volume, so 130 could act as a resistance. Let's see if we go with next week's expiration. We'll look at the puts. They're actually pretty cheap if you're going for the 129 strike price. They're only going for 130 a piece. Probably have a decent delta for that. Yeah, going for 132. Delta of 39. Like to buy probably 3 of them. Or 2 of them, I think. At 131 right now. 130 actually. 120. Sorry, 129 is what I got them for. Again, they're not buying into the 131 puts or 131 calls, so doesn't seem like a promise to keep going up. Even for this week's expiration, today's expiration, I should say. You only have 5,300 versus 13,000 of the 130s. Any more news today? I don't think so. Let me check, though. Oh, we do have the Michigan Economic Report at 10 a.m. That could spark some volatility there. 9 more minutes till that report is out. I think that the consumer confidence is going to come in pretty well for the Michigan report. Inflation, that could be a toss-up. I'm not sure. I think that the last month's inflation expectation was really low. So if that pivots back to the upside, that could be trouble. Yes, I did take a put on Amazon. Not sure how deep the pullback would be, though. We do have some support just below us at 129.85. And then the next one that I have is all the way at 128 from yesterday. If we can get down to 128, that would be, I would say that would be a miracle, but maybe if we see something like 128 and change, similar to the lows this morning, we could take profits there. Q still trading at 369. Getting very close to 370, but not quite there. Let's see if anybody's buying any puts today. My guess with this bullish action, probably not. They're going after the 366 is pretty heavy. 17,000 volume. They're not going for the 365. I guess that's too far out of reach. Let's see. Tesla did end up pulling back just above 262. $262.5 was its peak so far. Let's see if people are buying the 262.5s yet. Yeah, the volume is 4,000 versus 5,000 at the 260. So that could support the rally. But this 10 a.m. report, the Michigan Economic Report, might change sentiment to where we end up going the other way. My guess it's probably going to be a positive report, though. Just based on what we got last time. And based on the last consumer confidence report from this week, I think was 109 versus 104 expected. So I feel like that's probably going to be reflected in the Michigan Economic Report too. what would be a positive report for the Michigan Economic Report. So my guess is that consumer sentiment is going to be above expectations, which is 63.9. Last month for May, it was 59.2. Looking at the preliminary report from earlier this month, we actually don't have a preliminary report. Yeah, we do. There it is. It was 63.9, so they're expecting the same thing. My guess is it's probably going to be above 64, maybe even something like 65. So that's going to be a beat. If the consumer is feeling more confident about the economy, that means that you're probably going to see the continuation of this broad rally. Very similar to what you saw yesterday. I would especially be bullish on IWM based on a fundamental standpoint. That would definitely cause a rally there. So I might take an IWM call right ahead of the report. I'm sure they're going after the 190 strike for next week, given that we are trading so close to it. I would kind of want to go further in expiration, though. I mean, if you're buying the 190 for the monthly option, it's only going for 230, so that's not a bad bet. And IWM has been a little bit bullish lately after the GDP report. So we're going to go with the July 21st expiration. 190 call. Currently going for 236. Right ahead of the report. Please let the report be positive. We'll have to see. Could go either way. You would also want to see the inflation expectations drop. I think with the recent Fed meeting, which was between the last report and this report, we actually could have a flip in sentiment around inflation to where it could go higher. Last time, I think it was 3.3, if I remember right. And that's what the markets expect today, 3.3% forecast. I think that could come in something like 3.5, which wouldn't be too far off the mark. So we'll watch. All right, report is out. IWM trading flat on the release. Looks like Tesla's going up. Amazon's back to 130 here. Up a little bit on the report, but then pulling back from that. And going into the report, let's see what we have. All right. Consumer expectations better than expected, just barely 61.5 versus 61.3, up from 55.4 for May. Consumer sentiment 64.4. So that's better than expected. 63.9 expected, up from 59.2 in May. Current conditions rose 69 versus 68 expected, up from 64.9. And then inflation expectations came in right at expectation, 3.3%, 3.3% expected, down from 4.2% in May. So pretty neutral report, I would call it. But this is providing a little bit of support to the rally that IWM has seen the last couple of days. Consumers feeling good about the economy. If the consumer is feeling good about the economy, small caps would perform a little bit better. They have been the lagger so far this year. So you'll probably see more of a rally in the small caps, IWM and DIA, than you will for QQQ, would be my guess. Amazon's just doing a bunch of nothing here. Trading close to the highs at 130.25. Similar to Q's, trading close to the highs at 369.40. Tesla's trading at 263, so you are seeing the gamma here going pretty wild. A bunch of 262.5s and 265s getting bought now. Nvidia is at 421 and change, 421.30 right now. Meta pulled back pretty hard initially on the report, but then rallied right back up. Microsoft still going up. Apple trading flat at the highs. Could be just a pullback before the next rally there. Not seeing much action on IWM here, surprisingly. You did see it go a little bit higher to 118.20, but then pull back. Inflation is still the same, yeah. Inflation expectations 3.3%, which was the same as the last report at 3.3%, and down from 4.2% in May. But that should have already been expected. The 5-year inflation expectations, let's see, came in at 3%. I think it was 3% last month, and it's 3.1% for May. So small drop in the 5-year. Decent drop in the 1-year inflation expectations, and the other reports came in better than expected. So overall, I would say decently positive report. Nothing to probably send QQQ over 370 maybe. So we might just kind of trade flat around here, I think. But we do have, the core PCE from this morning, which could still kind of fuel the rally. Let's see. There's not that many puts getting bought today. You have some competition at 368 with 21,000 in volume versus 24,000 for the calls. So if we do end up pulling back, maybe you could have some bearishness under 368, but still need to drop about $1.50 to get there. So, but yeah, if we go over 370, I don't think there will be much competition for the bulls. I think it's just going to be gamma squeeze kind of day above 370. But everything's just kind of trading at the highs and flattening out right now. Except for Tesla. Tesla's the one that's going up after the report. So yeah, it looks like we tried to get to 370 but couldn't quite manage it. And if we go to 368, you have some decent back and forth, I think. And that might be where we end up closing. It could just be a flat day after the good inflation report in the rally from yesterday. Q's is up already 1.5%, so pretty big move. Usually you don't see more than like 1% in either direction, but with an inflation day, core PCE inflation report, you will get some movement there. Amazon's pulling back a little bit from 130.45. So yeah, I guess we're gonna have a pretty chill day for Qs now. Maybe 368 to 370 top. SPY is still rallying like crazy. 443 right now. I'm guessing the Dow Jones is going up after that report. So yeah, you're seeing the rotation into the laggers. IWM not doing quite as hot, but it had a very good day yesterday, so to be expected there. And that's why we set our longer expiration date with July 21st. Give it a little bit more time to play out. Amazon's trying to push higher again here. Hitting 130.5. already up 2% for the day. Everything is up more than 1.5% besides Google up 1.4. So hugely bullish day across the board for all these stocks. And Nvidia being the leader up 3%, but this one's been a lagger for the last couple trading days. Just kind of trading flat, I guess, between 400-ish and 420. Going back and forth at those strike prices. Do I think SPY will hit its 52-week high at 444? Let's see, for SPY it's at 443 right now. Yeah, I would say that's probably in the cards today. Yeah, 443.90 from June 15th. So just a couple weeks ago. Nice gap up from 438 to 441. Amazon's headed higher at 130.5. We'll see if we get a pullback from the highs or if this one ends up continuing. Looks like we just got a pullback below 130 and then went up from there. So that's looking pretty bullish, I would say. Obviously, RSI is very hot. We're looking at 72 RSI, so very nice strength for Amazon today. That would keep it going. But you're seeing that across the board, not just for Amazon. Meta's going up a ton here. They had a very low close yesterday at 280. 150, now at 287. And Apple's trying to get to that 195 mark. Let's see if people are buying the 195 calls. Yeah, they're going pretty deep. That's for the monthly expiration. Today's expiration, there's actually a decent drop in volume from 83,000 to 32,000, where we might get resistance at 192.50. But if we look at next week's expiration for the 195, they are buying it into that one. And the open interest is higher at 195 to where that could fuel the rally higher. $195 calls for next week are going for 70-80 cents right now. Actually trading below the highs, even though we do have a new high on the stock itself. I want to wait on a pullback if I want to buy that though. All right, QQQ's retesting 370. Again, if we go over 370, Bulls will take control. There's no puts getting bought over 370. 7,400 in volume, 5,200 for 52,000 for the calls. So calls are definitely outweighing the puts over 370 if we do manage to cross that level. And then we have a drop. We have a drop in volume at 370 from 52,000 to 20,000. The drop in open interest isn't that bad though until you reach 372. Keep talking about it. Rallying the bull market. Yeah. Yeah, it's trading at 370 for Qs almost. Tesla's still headed higher. That Apple call is still going for 80 cents. All right, Amazon has a slight pullback from 131, but still going higher here. A lot of volume pumped into that last 5-minute candle, sitting at 130.20 to 130.7. All right, well, there's our pullback in Apple, a small pullback, but some pullback nonetheless. And they're back to 80. God dang it. People were just waiting to buy that 2 cents cheaper. Probably going to see the same thing across the board today. Especially if you get the gamma squeeze over 370 on Qs. Yeah, which we just crossed right now. People are just going to buy out of the money calls all day. All right, 371s are going for 73 cents. $0.75. And a ton of volume going into that, of course. As soon as we hit 370, everybody's just buying into the next strike price. Very, very typical. All right, got a pullback on those contracts from 90 to 85. Pullback on Qs from 370.5 to 370.40. We'll see if we do continue this. It's a decent little pullback there, making these contracts a little bit cheaper. Going for 75 now. Still above 370, so I still think that bulls will have control. So I'm going to try to get these at 76. 75 was my entry. All right, got it for 75. They're going for 70, so could have got them cheaper on a little bit of time. But still think bulls will have control over 370 today. Not many puts getting bought just yet. You do have some at the 369 strike price, but compared to the 369 calls, there's still about almost twice as many there. Let's see, Nvidia's trading to 422 and change. Amazon above 131 now. Meta trading to 288. That one could hit 290 today. Apple's almost at 193, pulled back from 193.15. Microsoft pulled back at 342.73. About 50 cents. So small pullbacks across the board, but nothing to be concerned of yet, I don't think. SPY will surpass the 52-week high. Yeah, I'm thinking so. Especially with this rally on Qs adding up. We are seeing a pullback on IWM now. And the Dow Jones still trading close to the highs. So that should support the rally today. Q slipping just below 370, just a little pullback, I'm guessing. Back to previous lows at 397.75 or 369.75. And the height of these contracts was 90 cents at 370.5. So we'll see if we can manage back up to that. Do kind of wish that I waited on those contracts though. Got him at 60 instead of 75, would have been way nicer. Amazon still rallying at 131. But yeah, that was just a tiny pullback from 130, 130 to 130.9. So people just buying up on any pullbacks today. Apple call yesterday. Good. Very nice on that trade. If you held into today. Went with the 192.5. That's expiring next week. I ended up closing out of that because Apple pulled back to 189. And I figured it would keep on coming down, but yesterday was just a very flat day for Apple, so didn't get much action at all. Alright, let's see for Qs. Still trading at that 370 level, but having a hard time staying above it. SPY's not quite to that 444 level that people are looking for the 52-week high. IWM recovering off of its lows, a 187.5, so that's good. That will make SPY do a little bit better, especially if you're seeing the Dow going up too. But yeah, I would think that we would get a pretty broad rally. So SPY would definitely benefit from that the most. And then for Qs, I think it's mostly just going to be options driven, especially above 370. We're up 1.7% so far today. Wouldn't be too shocked if we saw like 2% plus. All right. Well, still looks like we're trying to head higher with Qs at 370. Hopefully we cross the highs at 370.5. And then the lows are in at about 369.75, I'm thinking, here. So we'll set an alert down below. and above at 370.5. Amazon still trading at 131, so not getting much action. But everything just trading at the high, similar to what we were doing earlier at 9:50, 10 o'clock. So probably going to get another rally up, I guess. But yeah, that's probably all the trades I got for today. And I'll catch y'all on Monday at 9:30. See everybody.